Students, I hope everyone is doing well. Today we're going to go ahead and continue our discussion about the three branches of government. We've already talked about the executive branch, the legislative branch, and today we're going to go ahead and delve into the judicial branch. No higher duty or more solemn responsibility rested upon this court than that of translating into living law and maintaining this constitutional shield for the benefit of every human being subject to our Constitution, of whatever race, creed, or persuasion. And this quote was said by Hugo Black in 1940. This quote just kind of sums up that our court systems are supposed to remain on a common ground and keeping consistency no matter what race, ethnicity, religion, whatever you identify with. There should be consistency among all courts, no matter the person. So what is the judicial branch? The judicial branch is one of the three branches of government. Like I said before, we've talked about the executive branch, which enforces our laws, and that includes our president. And then we have our legislative branch, which is our Congress, so the House and the Senate. And then here we have the judicial branch, which is all of our court systems. So who specifically work in the judicial branch? Well, first and foremost, we have our Supreme Court, which is the highest court in our country. These are our 9 chief justices. These chief justices are elected by the president and approved by the Senate. And they hold a lifetime appointment. So they actually are on this court, the Supreme Court, until they choose to leave themselves and retire, or until death. So they hear those high court cases that have made their way from our district courts through the appellate courts all the way up to the Supreme Court because people have appealed them along the way. So they make some pretty big decisions, and what they say is the final ruling. Once you go to the Supreme Court, that is the final decision. Below the Supreme Court, we have our federal courts. So federal court judges are also appointed by the president and approved by the Senate. And the main role of all these courts is to be interpreting the laws. So like I just mentioned, the role of the judicial branch is to interpret the laws and keep consistency among all court cases. So they are to look at the case that they have in front of them, hear the evidence, and then relay that and compare it to what laws we have and make their decision on that. So in this picture here, you see we have arrows going to all branches of the government and how they kind of intertwine because all branches really rely on each other for the overall success of our country. So not one branch is higher or better than the other. They are all supposed to maintain each other and keep that system of checks and balance. So the importance of this branch, like I was just saying, is to maintain that system of checks and balance, to really make sure that we have our interpreters of the law, we have our enforcers of the law, and we have our law creators. So not one power or one branch can really function by itself. You have to have a combination of all three in order to have a fully successful working government. They're also supposed to interpret the laws and keep consistency among all state laws, court cases, and really make sure that they're trying all cases with fairness and following the laws. So now that we have kind of refreshed our minds on the judicial branch, it is now time to assume the role of a judge. So here's what you need to do, students. First things first, you are going to find a partner. Once you have found your partner, you are going to use this link that is in this slide and it is going to bring you to a court case. In this court case, you are going to see all the evidence that's presented. You're going to hear both sides from the plaintiff and the defendant, and you're going to hear a few witness statements as well. So once you have read through that entire court case, you and your partner are going to discuss, and you're going to decide on your final court ruling. So you are going to be that judge, and you are going to decide on, if you were really the judge in this case, what would your ending ruling be? What would you decide? So you and your partner might not agree at first, but this is for you to take the time to really discuss, hear both sides, and then to come to a mutual agreement. Once you have your agreed ruling, you will present your court case to the class. So here's what your presentation should include. So first things first, you're going to discuss your court case to the class. Then you're going to discuss your court ruling. You're going to say, this is what we thought, and here is why. The reasoning is really important here. We need to hear why you chose what you chose. You cannot just say, I find this person guilty, and not have a good reasoning why. So really think about that when you're discussing. Next, you're going to discuss with the class, what would happen if we did not have a judicial branch? What would happen if we didn't have this branch of government that interprets our laws? What would happen with the other two branches? What would happen with court cases? What would happen if we didn't have the court system? Really just think about that and create this discussion with your partner so that when you present it to the class, you really have thought about it and can give us some of your thoughts. You will present this presentation either through using a PowerPoint, through creating a poster, or whatever creative way that you and your partner would like to present your information. If you have any questions at all, as always, students, please feel free to reach out to me and I would love to help you. And if not, no questions, then go ahead and get started.